I haven't had discussions with Bauchi yet. We are lined up to have a chat somewhere during the IPL. But yes, I mean, we've been talking about it already last year. He asked me if I would be interested, and I said absolutely. Come end of the IPL, we'll have a look at where we're at with regards to my form, my fitness, also the situation with his team. I mean, he's got to get the best 15 together, look at these guys that have been performing well over the last while. And if there's no space for me, then so be it. If I can slot in there, it'll be fantastic if all these things fall into place. So I'm waiting for Bauchi, here from Bauchi towards the end of the IPL, and then we'll plan accordingly. I've never been too worried about where I bat. Obviously, if you want to go out and win the best batter of the tournament, who scores the most runs, win the orange cap and all that kind of stuff, you got to be right at the top, probably opening or batting at 3. But those kind of things have never been important to me. I want to win games of cricket with my team, no matter where I bat. The coaches feel strongly about me batting in the middle overs towards the end this time around. That might change throughout the tournament. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. I get given a role. They communicate really well with me way in advance, so I can prepare mentally. And whatever role that's thrown in my way, I will go out there and give it my best shot for RCB. At the moment, it's batting at 5. I'm floating between 5 and 6. Depending on the conditions, the situation of the game, I'm very happy to be ready whenever they need me. I think the most important thing is he looks happy. Generally, as a sportsman, you just want to be in a good space where you're enjoying your time with your teammates, where you feel confident about your own game. And in order to feel confident, you must have prepared well. And I think Maxi prepared really well. He had a really strong season, also a strong series against New Zealand just before the IPL. So lots of things added up. I think he's always wanted to be in the RCB team. He's mentioned that a few times. So in all, I think he just looks happy. It's not so much about what we talk about off the field and what we say about batting, the two of us. We've just had nice chats about life in general, about his Aussie team, his dreams moving forward, and what he wants to achieve here. We all play at such a level where we're not really going to tell each other what to do out there anymore. It's more of guys just being happy, feeling backed, and I think that's what he feels in this team. He feels Virat, myself, the coaching staff, and all his teammates back him. He knows he's got an extraordinary talent, but in order for that to blossom, someone must be happy, and I think he's just in a happy space at the moment. We've had a few very good games. I think a lot of credit's got to go to Harshal and to the seam attack in general. We'd rather not single players out. I think the seam attack in general seemed really clear with what they're trying to achieve out there. Our spinners, we know what they're capable of. We have a lot of options with Maxi, Washi, Yuzi, Shabazz. There are lots of options for Virat to play around with, but there's always a lot of pressure on seamers, especially playing on wickets like in Chennai. In India in general, there's not a lot of purchase for the seamers more often than not. Sometimes there will be, so don't get me wrong, but they've been under pressure here in Chennai, and the way they've come through, I think led by Harsh and Siraj, really experienced two bowlers, very clear, and then obviously Jomo have been really good. So I think there's just the clarity, and the guys seem to know exactly what their roles are and what they're trying to do out there. They've played exceptionally well in the first 3 games, and I'm very, very chuffed with it. I try and play the situation, what I'm confronted with, the kind of bowler I'm facing. I also try and figure out what the wicket is doing, whether it's low and slow, fast and up and down, whatever the case may be. Those kind of things determine the kind of innings I try to play, the kind of shots that come out. There's no use in me saying that I must play a lap shot, but the conditions don't really allow that, or someone like a Russell's bowling wide of the wicket, which don't allow me to play that shot. There are a lot of things that go into certain shots that come out, and I try and be as smart as I can with my shot selection, and that'll help me to give me the best percentage of a chance of playing well and scoring boundaries and having an impact on the game. So I've never been an ego player who will go out there and say that I'm Mr. 360. I'm going to play all the shots in the book. I rather want to play the situation to the best of my ability. I think I did that pretty well tonight. I don't always do it well. And the next game will be another challenge for me to try and achieve that.
Yeah, look, I think in hindsight, if we had our time again, we probably would have bowled Varun Chakravarti in that next over when Maxwell did come out. But look, we're also trying to save Varun's overs for AB de Villiers as well for when he arrived at the crease. But look, I think in retrospect, we probably should have bowled that over. But look, there was many other aspects in the game which we could just tidy up, which should give us a much better chance against a team that's clearly very confident in RCB. Look, Sunil Narayan stood on the rope before our first game, which meant that he's had a bit of a injury where he wasn't 100% fit. So look, he certainly comes into our calculations. He was a touch and go for today's game, but we opted for Shakib, who has been very, very good for us, and he also gives us that extra bit of batting. But look, I think after 3 games, the guys have played well. We haven't got the results necessarily. We're only one from 3. But I think, we probably will need a few fresh legs and also a slightly different surface I'm going to come up against when we get to Mumbai. So we'll probably expect to make a couple of changes. Well, maybe 1, maybe 2 changes for our next game. But overall, I think we've shown enough in this tournament that says that we're a good chance if we can just tidy up some of those areas. And if we do that, then I'm very confident that we can bounce back in the next couple of games. That timeout is obviously chosen by the batting side at that time. So they chose to take the timeout there. And then from our point of view, it was just about trying to execute. It was trying to ensure that we took the RCB batters to the bigger boundary. There was quite a sizable boundary on one side of the ground and quite a short boundary on the other. And whilst we had the plans in place, unfortunately we missed, and whether that's because of the presence of AB de Villiers at the crease or because we weren't quite good enough on the day. But our plans were sound, we just didn't execute them. And look, I have to say there's some tremendous batting from both Glenn Maxwell and AB de Villiers today as well. On was probably our best surface we've seen here at Chennai, but it was still tricky at times. And I thought what they did is they took the pitch out of play by their presence at the crease, and they put us under an immense amount of pressure. They were able to, Glenn Maxwell was able to reverse sweep the spinners, which adjusted their pace and their line that they were trying to operate. And AB de Villiers was able to access different parts of the ground, which just meant that we had to be inch perfect with our execution. Unfortunately, we weren't. And when you're playing against big players like that who are striking the ball well, you're going to get hurt. And I thought we were probably 25 runs above what was par in the end. Well, look, in the past, we haven't had to worry too much about the planning because he hasn't necessarily been in top form since he's been over here. But it appears this year he's come over and with a really refreshed attitude. He looks like he's trying to hit the ball as far as he can from ball 1. He's taken the game on, and we've seen him be successful in the Big Bash and also for Australia with that same kind of attitude. So, look, he's clearly confident at the moment. He took the game away from us at a crunch stage today when we were on top. And if we had our time again, I'm sure we would have tried a few different things. But that's what some of these world-class players do, and they're littered throughout all the lineups. We've got them in our own lineup. Is when they turn up, they have that presence at the crease. They start striking the ball well. They put so much pressure back on the opposition, and we weren't able to respond today. So fair credit to both AB de Villiers and also Glenn Maxwell, who I thought started the proceedings for RCB with the bat.
Yeah, so I got the question. Yeah, so when I was traded, they told me what sort of role I'll be playing in this team, and also when we gathered for the camp, for our first camp, there was very clear instruction to me that I'm going to bowl at least 2 overs in the death, and that gave me a lot of clarity and confidence to just work on my skill and develop certain plans against the batters that I'm going to face in death overs in various teams. So it was that clarity was given to me very early, and that made my preparation a lot more concise. Yeah, I think it definitely suited my kind of bowling, and that was probably one of the reasons why Virat left my 3 overs at the death. And as the ball got older, it started reversing a bit, and when the ball starts reversing, it's definitely easier to execute your Yorkers. And I know that I can. My slower balls are have been my biggest strength for almost 10 years now. And Yorker is something that I've been working on, and I'm happy that I was able to execute that. Yeah, obviously you always want to start well, and that makes a massive impact on how you go about the tournament in coming games. But this is my 10th season in IPL, and I know it's a pendulum. Things can change very quickly for good and for bad. So all you have to do is just focus on your planning, focus on your execution, and take one game at a time, and not get too overconfident. At the same time, if you have a bad day on the field, you just can't get too depressed. You have to move on from all these situations very quickly. Not really. I've been bowling that for almost 2 years now. It's just that when you don't get wickets off of those deliveries, you people don't tend to see that variation is not as effective if you don't get wickets. But when you get wickets, people obviously notice that. And my Yorker is one thing that I've been bowling for a long time, but I was not confident enough to take that into the game. But now, like in last 15-20 days, I've made sure that I put myself in situations where I have to bowl Yorkers, and I get really confident at it.
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one because obviously Rohit's been a very successful captain, so you got to back the captain and the moves that he makes. So at that stage, yes, we needed a wicket. I think just overall we were just a little bit off our game. So look, not much, only his first game of the tournament, but I think Bumrah, he's excellent in his death bowling. So I think he wanted to keep overs in the back end because, as we found from our batting innings, it got really tough at the back end. So to have someone like Bumrah, facing Bumrah in those back end tough overs, it can go either way. But as a batter, knowing that, well, as an opposition team, knowing that Bumrah's got 3 left, in the later half of the innings is, mentally quite tough as well. So, as I said, Rohit, there's always a method to his madness, and I think at the end of the day, it wasn't a tactical, errors or anything. It was just a skill error from all of us tonight. Look, obviously I was a bit nervous, no doubt about it. First game for Mumbai, and first time I batted with Rohit as well. And look, it happens in the game of cricket as well. I thought there was a run, then obviously not a run. But yeah, I would have, if I had been able to run past him and sacrifice my wicket, I definitely would have done that. But obviously it wasn't the case. But as I said, it happens in the game of cricket. But yeah, I just put a little bit more pressure on myself. It's not ideal running out this your captain in your first game for the team. So. My first game could be my last, who knows? But anyway, look, it was just a spur of the moment thing. As I said, it happens in the game of cricket, and it would have been nice because he was striking the ball nicely, and we were 10 or 15 short. So to have Rohit, he would have definitely made a difference. But there was plenty of factors, in this game tonight, not just the run out. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. Maybe a little shoulder niggle. I'm not too sure though. I think it's maybe more precautionary. Obviously, he's played a fair bit of cricket leading up to this tournament, and this tournament is 14 games as well. So you don't want to, throw all your eggs in one basket and risk of that injury. If it is his shoulder, I'm not 100% sure. So obviously, the physios and the support staff and the doctors will treat Hardik if there's something wrong there. But look, he's obviously a huge factor with the bat. But if he gets bowling, then I think he just adds another dimension, not only for himself but for our team in general. And look, we might have been missing that 6th bowler tonight, but as I said, it's only the early stages in the tournament. There's a lot of cricket to come, and we're going to have to adapt to this wicket. I think it's going to be quite challenged and tricky from a batting point of view. We've got 5 games here, so the next 4 games. So. Yeah, it's going to be tricky, but look, I do believe if Hardik is bowling, then it obviously brings out his confidence in his batting as well. So fingers crossed he's out with the ball in hand sooner rather than later.
Well, no, Giddy won't be available. He won't be arriving until in time for the next game. So losing Josh Hazlewood, which was the plan to have him available for these games now, is a blow, certainly for as an option up front. And Giddy will be arriving soon, and Behrendorff will obviously be following that. So it's an area that we're a little bit short on, but we still look at the Indian bowlers that we have, international bowler Sam Curran, and probably expect a little bit more. So that's where we'll be spending our time before the next game. Wasn't bad when you lose wickets where it was doing a little bit early, 33 after the first 6, then to get 190 is pretty good going. That's almost 12 runs and over for 14 overs. So the intent with the bat was pretty good. The conditions changed, the dew and a little bit of rain made it, I guess, difficult in the second innings for any assistance. and they played very well. But look, 190, whether it's a small ground or not, is still reasonably competitive. We just needed to bowl better. Well, it's really good, really, considering the cricket and where he's come from. It was an outstanding innings. We put Moeen Ali up as the aggressor, and also used Suresh as in an aggressive role to get him into some cricket and find some form. But I think after 2 or 3 boundaries, he was away. So it's a really positive sign for us. And I like the way we turned the momentum around. They bowled well. To be fair, they had some assistance early on, I felt, with the wicket being a little bit tacky. And we got through that well, and then we were able to counter-attack very well with a long batting order. So that part of it I was reasonably buoyed by. It was just the fact we weren't able to create chances with the ball that was disappointing today. Oh, look, I actually think it'll help. You get to learn a lot. Like tonight, bowling second was difficult. The dew was heavy, so we've got to find a way, if we're in that position again, to shut a team down. Bravo showed how to do it. So we'll learn a lot from being here for another 4 games. We have to learn a lot. But don't underestimate how much it takes to change a philosophy of a team. And we're very much a Chennai-based side, and we saw Mumbai struggled a degree last night. So they've got to challenge how to change their tactics in Chennai, and we've got to make sure that our tactics are a little bit better with the ball in Mumbai. So it's one of the quirks of this competition and this COVID age, but we just got to find a way. And as I say, half the game today was pretty good. The other half, we just need a little bit of work and trying to shut teams down. But it's going to be high-scoring affairs, and the toss may play a big part. You've been talking to my wife when you say I've been doing nothing else. What it does, my balance is 2 months here, 2 to 3 months a year in India are very important. And a couple of other tournaments around the world kept me really engaged. The other time I try and upskill by going to other sporting codes and learning how to keep pushing forward. There's been some really successful coaches that have had great careers. It's all about the relationship with the franchise, and my drive is still to get better. I'm still learning and introducing new things to the culture of the group. I've still got a real passion for man management and being with this group in MS. So my drive's there, but it's a performance-based game. So there's pressure around, and as I say, I just keep trying to get better. So I don't get tired. It's only 2-3 months a year. It's something that I really love because it keeps me engaged with the game.
वो प्रैक्टिस में ही पहले स्टार्ट किया, क्योंकि सीधा गेम में कोई ऐसी चीज़ नहीं लाता मैं, तो प्रैक्टिस में स्टार्ट किया, क्योंकि जो फील्डिंग जिस हिसाब से लगाते तो उसके हिसाब से फिर शॉट भी बनानी पड़ती है. तो मुझे पता था कि चेन्नई बोले मिलेश को लेग ऊपर रखते हैं, फाइन लेग ऊपर रखते हैं और कवर्स पीछे रखते हैं. तो ये कि बस उसके ऊपर से टपानी है बॉल, और पता था उनके बॉलिंग प्लान भी पता थे कि भाई यॉर्कर्स डालेंगे, वाइट यॉर्कर्स डालेंगे ज़्यादा मुझे. तो वहाँ से फिर अंदर आके बस उसको कोशिश करता हूँ कि उस पेस को यूज़ करूँ और उसके ऊपर से निकाल दूँ उसको लेग के ऊपर से. He did quite well. First of all, glad that he won the toss. It was a bit sticky wicket, so it was good for us to bat second. And yeah, he did. He kept his calm and he kept on motivating the boys. He did good changes as well, and I'm sure it was his first match, so he only gonna get refined from here. And with the experience he's getting here, he just started with it. I'm sure that he's only gonna get better with it. And the best thing is that he stays calm, and his presence of mind is quite there, which is very, very good. Yeah. And as a senior player, of course, I give my advice to him and or to the youngsters whenever they come to me, ask for batting tips or mindset things. So for sure, I always share my knowledge to them. लले जी, बस यही कहूँगा कि काफ़ी खुश हूँ कि अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस हुई है. एक टूर्नामेंट में अच्छी शुरुआत होती है तो वो किसी भी बैट्समैन या किसी भी प्लेयर के लिए बड़ी बात होती है, और वो उस फॉर्म को आगे कंटिन्यू रखना चाहता है. और अच्छी बात यह है कि अच्छा भी परफॉर्म हुआ और जीते भी, और पूरी टीम ने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, खाली सिर्फ मैंने ही नहीं. पृथ्वी ने बहुत अच्छी बैटिंग करी, फिर बॉलर्स ने अच्छी बॉल डाली, तो काफ़ी खुशी है कि अच्छा स्टार्ट हुआ है. और बस इसको और आगे रिफाइन करते जाना है और आगे मेंटेन करते जाना है, बस यही एम है. Now there's no change in my approach or anything, because I've been playing like this for a long time now. If you have watched me playing last IPL or even before that, I've been scoring runs on a good strike rate, and I'm happy the way I'm going. Been much more consistent, and of course I always look to improve. wherever I can, and I'm very happy and enjoying my game. बिल्कुल सर, आप ज़रूर देखेंगे, मैंने जैसे बोला कि मैं पिछले 2-3 सालों से वैसे ही खेल रहा हूँ, तो मैं वही सेम ही हूँ, और अपना बस एक जो बंदा जैसा खेल रहा होता है, जिस माइंडसेट से, जिस स्किल से, उसको मैं रिफाइन करता जा रहा हूँ, और मेरे को बड़ी खुशी है कि मेरी कंसिस्टेंसी हो गई या स्ट्राइक रेट हो गई, जैसे आप बात करें कि एग्रेसिव मैं खेल रहा हूँ, कि वो दिख रहा है, और आई एम वेरी हैप्पी विद इट, एंड फॉर श्योर यू गोना सी मी प्लेइंग दिस ओनली, एंड दैट्स this version of the game demands that, so for sure I'm going to do that.
Yeah, we just felt that Kane needed a little bit of extra time, to get his match fitness, a little bit more time in the nets. He would have played in place of Johnny Bairstow, obviously, if that had have occurred. But we weren't too perturbed about that. Johnny's obviously been in form just recently in white ball cricket here in India, and obviously showed tonight he batted well for 50 odd. So Kane will obviously certainly come into calculations, as the tournament unfolds. Hindsight's always a wonderful thing, It's easy to sit back here, after the fact, but in fact, VJ in our practice matches that we had, a few days ago was our best player. He struck the ball beautifully in one of the games, 95, and hit a lot of the balls, a long way over the fence. So, look, it's always difficult in those situations whenever you go in, when you've got to pretty much, go from the ball, from the first ball you face. Sam in a short space of time, last IPL and this one has shown that, he's got a lot of talent, and he's a clean striker of the ball. I think as he gets more experience, he'll get more opportunity. Well, look, at the moment, what we wanted to do was, in a way, reward the guys that finished the tournament off last year. As you know, we got off to a slow start last tournament, but we came home, very well to make the finals. And someone like Soha, obviously opening the batting and batting so well in that tournament. We thought we'd reward the guys that finished it off so well for us last year. Obviously, depending on fitness and form, that type of thing, we know Johnny can open the batting and obviously keep as well. So it gives us a few options, but yes, he's done well at number 4 for England just recently. Look, I think he was starting to cramp up. So in fact, Samad was probably our best chance to hit the ball over the fence, as you showed. 2 good clean strikes off Pat Cummins. Whoever was on strike, obviously, to make 38 off 12 balls, would have been a stretch. But I think we lost the game, before those last 12 balls, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm delighted for Nitesh. Obviously, a match-winning innings today. I think the thing that impressed me the most about his innings was the method in which he used. He played really aggressively and always took a positive option, which really did set up our batting innings, and that allowed the middle order players. Obviously, Rahul played extremely well, and it allowed our lower middle order players, one of which came off today, in Dinesh Karthik. So I'm delighted for Nitesh. Yeah, I'm delighted. Andre's been a big part of the franchise for a long time now, and obviously when you have a player of that talent and ability, he can offer so much at any stage, and today he did that. Bowling at the death is not an easy job to do, and he managed to get us over the line. It was just catching up, really. He was obviously delighted to be out of quarantine and have a negative test, and then when he joined the squad, getting back into playing in the camp, netting and batting in a practice match as well. But his game is in really good touch. I think we witnessed that today on a wicket that probably wasn't as good as he made it look to bat on. We're delighted for him. Dinesh is happy with where he is at the moment. Obviously, we're in regular conversation with him being vice captain and me being captain. And one of the many strengths within our squad, we have 2 of the most talented guys in the country opening the batting for us. Tripathi today at 3 played beautifully, and the middle order that we have is extremely versatile. So when Dinesh plays like that, or Andre plays in the way that he can play, it's obviously a very destructive batting unit that has potential to win you matches. Yeah, the interaction with everybody is always open, and everybody within the squad, coaches and backroom staff are very well aware as to how tough bubble life is and the challenges that it presents. And you're right, it is tough at different stages, particularly not playing. Working hard and waiting around for an opportunity can be the challenge. But I think the mindset, having been in that position myself over the years, the mindset is waiting for that opportunity and trying to manage where you spend your energy throughout the tournament. Because a lot of the time, if you're not in a good headspace when the opportunity arises, you don't take that opportunity. So there's regular conversations going on around player welfare at the moment. It's more to do with matchups. Obviously, there's a lot of preparation that goes into the analysing of the opposition team, and him bowling the first over of the game was a decision based on that. He created a great opportunity. Unfortunately, the catch was dropped. And I think the role that he played from then on, obviously using his experience to speak to other players and lend a hand where needed, was outstanding. You know, since he's arrived in the camp, he's had more energy than anybody I've seen within the squad. So it's fantastic that he's doing that, and he's bowling beautifully. So hopefully that continues.
The wicket was pretty good, and they batted really well. And I guess IPL is such a big stage and such a good league. You cannot write off any team. So yes, you can't write any team off. ऐसे कुछ स्पेशल नहीं प्रिपेयर करता, बस अपने आप को बैक करता हूँ. और जैसे स्पोर्ट्स स्टाफ और बॉलिंग कोच ने बताया कि अपने आप को बैक करो और थिंग्स को सिंपल रखो जितना रख सकते हो. जो प्लान बनाया गया है और जो कैप्टन से बात हुई है डालने के लिए, उसको बैक करो. और अगर ब्लफ करना है तो बैट्समैन को करो, कैप्टन को नहीं. आई गेस एवरी टीम नाउ प्रैक्टिस बॉलिंग एट द डेथ with the dew on. Everyone knows that there will be some dew, but I don't feel that there was that much of dew tonight. And yeah, every team practices because you never know what the toss result will be, and you prepare for everything. वही था पाजी, जैसे फील्ड सेट था और जो प्लान था कि उनको वाइड खिलाना है, जितना हो सकता है वाइड यॉर्कर ट्राई करना है, और 6 की 6 बॉल अच्छा अगर एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे और तो उनके लिए बॉल के अंडर आना काफ़ी मुश्किल होगा. लेकिन मेन बात वही थी कि अपनी एग्जीक्यूशन को बैक करें और जो प्लान है उस पर खरे उतरे.
I think Sanju backed himself to get the job done, and he nearly did. He was 5 or 6 yards short of hitting that last ball for a 6, and sometimes when you know you're hitting the ball well and you're in form and you believe that you can do it, you've got to take that responsibility, and it's really encouraging to see Sanju do that. We can always talk about a missed single here or there, but the crucial thing for me is players' belief and attitude and commitment into what they know their strengths are, and Sanju took it upon himself to finish that game, and he just fell a few yards short. That happens, but the next time I believe he'll hit it that 10 yards further to win us the game. Well, yeah, I mean, Rihan's a special player, as you would have seen. He's got amazing hand speed, great composure, and the fast bowler Shami, with his experience, took a risk bowling a bumper at that time, and Rihan just didn't get enough bat on it. That's the nature of the game. That's risk and reward. And I love watching Rihan play with that freedom. And when you play with freedom, sometimes wickets do fall. But I think, you know, there were many turning points in the game. And Rihan and Sanju were both having a wonderful partnership and got us into the game with, you know, batters to come to try and finish it. So I would say there were other key moments as well. And I'm really encouraged by the passion and the commitment showed by all the younger players. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I think he was just brilliant. You know, his skill was on display, but, you know, it was really wonderful to watch a bowler in such a high-scoring match. You know, always smiling, always in the game. He took an amazing catch at short, fine leg. He managed to come back and bowl with a new ball. Then he bowled at the death when, you know, everyone was taking punishment. So it speaks a lot about his skill, his attitude. And it's great to have him in the side. He's a simple guy. He's had you know, ups and downs in life, and he's here to enjoy his cricket, and our job is to support that. And it's really good to see the control that he had, the change-ups, and he picked the moments to bowl them. He'll get better, and things will get tougher when batsmen get used to him and analyze him a bit more. But I think Chetan is a young man who I think will have a very, very good future. Yeah, the dew is can be pretty heavy, and I think most sides winning the toss will chase. And it just gets really hard to defend. As you saw today, we were just one hit away from winning a game, chasing 221. Sanju's just an exceptional player. And I know when you start off with a bang, you always want to talk about consistency. But the real key is to understand that, it differs from game to game. There are passages of play that you have to play a different sort of way. Some days you might have to take a few more risks. Your start may be different and your timing might just be different. Consistency comes with really understanding, what the differences are on these days and not really fighting yourself for the conditions, but understanding what your rhythm is and how you build your innings and really focusing just on that day when he comes out next. Not thinking about his 100 here, it's done and gone. It's about constructing an innings on a new day, and when he keeps those thought processes simple, there's nothing else to worry about for him in terms of technique or execution. He's just a very, very special player, as you saw. And I just want him to keep things, pretty relaxed and focused on just the ball that he's facing. And that ball's going to be in a few days' time against Delhi. And he's got to restart from now. Yeah, no one's happy with the loss, for sure. I think the players are hurting, more than anyone. They played with a lot of commitment and passion, and they gave everything. And as coaches and support staff, that's all you can ask for. The only thing that, we have to understand and be realistic about the areas of the game that we need to improve, and that middle period of where we kind of lost our rhythm and our way a little bit needs to be addressed. It is the first game. I think people get to know each other and fall into a certain rhythm as the tournament goes on. We've just got to do that quicker, stay ahead of the game a little bit, and stay committed to our plans. I think we had a great power play, a great end to our bowling innings, and a wonderful batting innings. But there was a 3-over period or 4-over period in the middle where we really should have stayed committed and stayed focused, had more energy, and really positive commitment. You can be a leg spinner bowling to Chris Gayle or anyone else in the world. You need to believe that you're there to bowl, good balls, top balls, and get wickets, and bowl smartly. And we need to keep supporting the players and keep leading them down that path. When they encounter a problem out in the middle, they've got to solve it, and we've got to give them options to do it and make them believe in their own strengths.
ऑब्वियसली दोनों ने अच्छी बॉलिंग की, उनका भी काफ़ी अच्छा स्पेल था आज का. उन्होंने रन काफ़ी रोके, 12-14 ही रन दिए होंगे शायद. एंड लास्ट मैच में विकेट ऐसा नहीं था, बट आज थोड़ा हेल्प मिल रहा था. तो ऑब्वियसली अगर ऐसा ही विकेट रहा तो हम दोनों का बहुत मेन रोल रहेगा. आई थिंक सबसे ज़्यादा इन्जॉय मैंने राहुल त्रिपाठी का विकेट किया, बिकॉज वो बॉल बहुत अच्छा टर्न हुआ था. जैसे मैं डालता हूँ, जैसे मेरे को चाहिए एक लेग स्पिनर का जो एक आइडिया होता है कि बॉल ऐसे टर्न हो, तो वैसा ही बॉल था. आई थिंक आज ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं चल रहा था, बिकॉज अभी इंडियन टीम में मैं इतने बड़े बड़े प्लेयरों को बॉल डाल रहा था जब नेट्स में, तो एक प्रेशर कम हो जाता है जब आप इतने बड़े बड़े प्लेयरों को बॉल डालते हो कंटिन्यूसली. और मैं एमआई में मेरा 4था साल है जब मैं नेट्स में बॉलिंग करता हूँ. पोलार्ड, हार्दिक, जो भी वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट हिटर्स माने जाते हैं, तो जब मैच में वो सिचुएशन आती है तो वो प्रेशर फील नहीं होता. उन्होंने ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं, बस वो हमेशा मुझे एक ही बात बोलते हैं कि कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ डाल, तू बहुत अच्छा बॉलर है. मैं जब तेरी बॉलिंग पे बैटिंग करता हूँ तो कभी कभी मुझे भी समझ नहीं आती इनको क्या आएगी. जस्ट फोकस्ड रहे और अच्छी लेंथ पे डाल और टर्न कराने की कोशिश कर. और ये चीज़ मुझे पता था कि यहाँ पे अगर कोई गेम चेंज कर सकता तो वो स्पिनर ही है, तो कॉन्फिडेंस था कि मैं कर सकता हूँ. या ऑब्वियसली जब मैं भी बॉलिंग कर रहा था, जब राहुल त्रिपाठी बैटिंग पे आया था, तब भी हमने स्लिप ली हुई थी, 2 कवर्स लिए हुए थे. फिर इयान मॉर्गन जब आए थे तो एक लेग स्लिप था, एक स्लिप था. तो वो एक मेंटली पता लगता है कि हम अटैकिंग ट्राई कर रहे हैं, विकेट लेने का ट्राई कर रहे हैं और कॉन्फिडेंट हैं हम विकेट लेने के लिए. नहीं, ऑब्वियसली काफ़ी क्लोज मैच रहा. और जैसे लास्ट सीज़न बुमराह एंड बोल्टी ने जैसी बॉलिंग की थी, उसको देख के काफ़ी कॉन्फिडेंस था कि वो लोग मैच टर्न कर सकते हैं कहीं से भी.
I support that tweet, but at the end of the day, the game of cricket is very, you're not sure until it's over. I think, we're still confident, we're still playing some good cricket, and I'm proud of the boys. We definitely feel disappointed, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the road. So our second game, and we're definitely going to learn from it. I just think, it's a game of cricket. I've played, hundreds of T20 games, and I've seen games where teams cruising in the driver's seat and then suddenly lose a few wickets, new batter coming in, struggle to get away the ball, and I think that's what happened tonight. So we definitely have to learn from this, as I said before. We're looking to make sure that who is in, stay in. And, I think once we learn from all these mistakes that happened tonight, we definitely going to be doing better because we have a good team. So I'm trust and I have confidence in the boys. I just think you have to try and stay as still as possible. Be open-minded and try to, it's a difficult wicket to bat on as I mentioned before. The wicket is not easy as a new batter to come in and start a hit from ball one. It's very challenging. So even for me tonight, the ball was a bit up and down, so it's not the easiest pitch to hit on. So no matter how good you are, you still need a couple of balls to actually get your eye in. Not really. I was just playing each ball on its merit, not trying to get out. But unfortunately, you get a delivery that in the slot and you think you can get away. And, luckily, I got dropped 2 times, and the third time I wasn't that lucky. But it's a game of cricket. We don't try to do the wrong thing all the time, but it happened. So, it's bat and it's ball. Sometimes luck go your way, sometimes it don't. So, at that time I was looking to, rotate the strike, not allow too many dot balls, because once you're ticking over, then, we will be going good. So I didn't get any runs, and that what built a bit of pressure on me. Yeah, it was a bit difficult to hit at the end, knowing that the guys was bowling cutters and they were bowling into the wickets. But at the end of the day, we are professionals. I'm not going to look any excuse and to be pampered. We should have get across the line tonight based on what we can do and what I know I can do. So, unfortunately, a good finisher like myself and DK, we didn't get back to balls. And, I think if we did get, a few boundaries, the game would be over. So, as I said, we're going to go back to the drawing board. We're definitely playing some good cricket as a team. So, it's just moving from this game and move from strength to strength.
या बिल्कुल, क्योंकि ये विकेट बहुत ही स्लो था, थोड़ा ग्रिप भी कर रहा था स्पिनर के लिए, तो मे बी विराट भाई ने बोला कि लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर के लिए जाएंगे, तो वो जो प्लान था वही हम लोग शहबाज के लिए आए, फिर वो 3 विकेट लिए, हम लोग के लिए बहुत ही हेल्पफुल हुआ वो। मतलब रोल ऐसा था कि उसको कभी मतलब 2 अभी राइट हैंडर बैट्समैन थे विकेट पे, तो एक लेफ्ट आर्म यूज़ करना, मतलब हमारे पास वॉशी का भी ओवर बाकी था, तो विराट भाई ने ट्राई किया कि एक लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर ट्राई करेंगे, तो शहबाज का वो पहला ओवर बहुत ही अच्छा गया, तो एक मनीष पांडे का हवा में भी गया था एयर में, तो फिर सेकेंड ओवर देखे, फिर वो कम बैक किया, तो बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। देखिए, मैं जितना हो सके तो मतलब जैसा मुझे नया बॉल मिला तो मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि स्विंग होना, तो मुझे पहला बॉल डालते कि स्विंग मिला, तो मैं ट्राई कर रहा था जितना हो सके उतना स्विंग मैं कराऊं तो उतना बेटर रहेगा। एक मेरे ओवर में 1-2 विकेट मिल गए तो बहुत ही टीम के लिए भी मतलब बहुत ही 150 हम लोगों का टोटल था, तो 1-2 विकेट मिलने से प्रेशर भी बिल्ड होगा, तो मैं ट्राई कर रहा था कि स्विंग के लिए। अब देखिए, अभी तक तो बॉलर्स का अभी T20 में बहुत टफ से जॉब है उन लोग की, मतलब ड्यू आ जाना, फिर बॉलर्स के मतलब विकेट हेल्पफुल रहना, तो अभी बॉलर्स का ये थॉट प्रोसेस है कि बस हम लोग एक जगह पे डालेंगे बैक ऑफ लेंथ पे, तो वहीं पर ये बैट्समैन कुछ गलती करे तो बेटर रहेगा। तो मेरा थॉट प्रोसेस ये है कि बस मैं जितना हो सके उतना बैक ऑफ लेंथ हिट करते जाऊँ, वहाँ से बैट्समैन कुछ गलती करे तो टीम के लिए फ़ायदा होगा। देखो, ये तो टीम मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर है किसको खिलाना क्या है, मतलब जो भी खेल रहा, मतलब शहबाज का रोल है कि वो लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर है, तो वो भी प्रैक्टिस मैचों में बहुत ही अच्छा कर रहा, बॉलिंग भी और बैटिंग में भी, तो उसको चांस है। रजत पाटीदार भी बहुत ही अच्छा खेल रहे हैं, मतलब अच्छा यंगस्टर है, तो टीम कॉम्बिनेशन क्या ऐसा है कि वो टीम मैनेजमेंट और विराट भाई देखते हैं, तो जो भी खेलेगा, मतलब शहबाज बहुत ही अच्छा कर रहा, तो उसी को चांस मिला, तो वो भी करके प्रूव भी करके बताया वो विकेट पे, तो टीम के लिए बहुत अच्छा।
Well, it was a little animated because we weren't playing very good cricket and we lost. So I think the umpires got it right. There was a bit of conjecture over obviously the second high no ball, but the first one was not directed at the batter's body, so that wasn't a warning. So I think the umpires got that one right. And Kane Williamson's, I mean, he's out having a bit of a run now. He trained on one of the days. We had 2 days practice before this game. He practiced on one of those days, so he's coming along. Look, I think I thought we played some pretty good cricket for about 35 of the 40 overs. Probably went for 1 or 2 too many runs in the last couple of bowling overs, but obviously then that last 3 or 4 overs, or the over where we lost 3 wickets, was obviously some poor cricket, some poor decision making. So we've just got to do better in the coming games. But as I said, for 35 of the 40 overs, I thought we played some pretty good cricket. We've just against these good teams, you've got to put together 40 good overs. Well, no, there was certainly no talk of targeting him by any means, but I think what we saw was what happens when batters or players get under a bit of pressure. I think that the 2 or 3 boys that got out in that over will admit that they got it wrong. They were some poor shots. But hopefully they learn from it and we go on and play some better cricket in the next match. Look, I think probably a little bit of both, but obviously when you keep a team to 150, you'd like to think you're going to win more times than you lose. Obviously our batting in that last third of the match was fairly poor. Some good bowling obviously, but as I said before, I think we succumbed to a little bit of the pressure rather than playing some good strong cricket shots and taking the 1s and 2s and putting pressure back on the opposition. We tried to get the game over and done with in a short space of time, but in T20 cricket you've always got a little bit more time than you really think. And you have a look at the end result, lose by whatever it was, 7 or 8. If we've still got 2 or 3 of our better batters in, and not that hadn't got out in that over where we lost the 3 wickets, it might have been a different story. But obviously tonight it wasn't. We've got to go away and regroup. Stay nice and positive. And as I said, we've played some good cricket for a lot of the match today. We've got to take the positives out of it and move on to the next match. Nabby had, when he hit the other day in the first match, he's feeling the effects of that hit for a couple of days after that. So he was deemed unfit, a bit of a headache and heavy head. That allowed us to play Jason with, obviously from a medium pace or pace bowling point of view, he gave us a point of difference with a little bit of height and bounce. So I thought that he showed that in this match.
First of all, I think it wasn't on the slower side. If you would see the stats, it was just about 4 or 5 slow balls that I bowled in the power play. It seemed more because I got wickets on those balls. More than that, I think it was seeming a little, I can say that, because there was a little moisture in the wicket to start with, and it increased with the game progressed. I think that's why it was still seeming when they came into bowl. So that's, I think it was a fresh wicket, and that was the difference from the last wicket where we played and this wicket, I guess. That's why the Goodland deliveries were flying off the pitch and they were hard to hit early on. I think we are trying to keep it simple and calm out in the middle, because during those times, when you are in a pressure situation, at times you lose your mind and start thinking ahead of the ball. So we were both talking to each other, telling each other to watch the ball nicely and just go for it. I think he couldn't middle a first few balls, and I kept telling him that it's just about one hit. It was all about that. I think the ball was coming on the bat nicely. The way he was swinging it, we were confident that we were a couple of hits away, and that's what we were talking out in the middle. We were just 2 hits away from getting this game in our pockets. But it was amazing hitting by Morris. I would say. I think the 6s that he hit of Kagiso were probably some of the best shots today. I think he has come a long way from bowling for Saurashtra, making his debut 3-4 years back. And I've seen him grow as a cricketer. He's someone who puts his body on the line. He's someone who will give more than 100% every time he's out there on the field. And you need such players in your team who can contribute in more than one ways. I think he's someone who actually feels the game, and very happy for him the way he has started his IPL career. I think it's always about that one game. I now believe this because it has been about 8-10 years that I have now started playing the IPL, and it's always about just one good game, and I knew that when my opportunity will come, when my chance will come, I'll have to be right up there in terms of my performance, and happy to have contributed today. I think we needed this as a team as well after losing a close game first up. It's always good to come out on the winning side in this close games. It gives a lot of confidence to the team. It gives you that much required momentum in this format. So happy to have contributed to the game, and happy for myself that I was able to execute what I wanted.
Yeah, it's certainly something that we'll talk about when I get a chance to sit down with the team. You're right, he had bowled beautifully, he bowled his three overs, none for 14, hadn't conceded a boundary. So yeah, look, he had a disappointing game in game one, Ashwin, and he's worked really hard on his bowling the last few days to make sure that he adjusted and got things right for this game, and I thought he bowled beautifully tonight. So probably is a mistake on our behalf and something that we will be talking about later on. Look, we are trying to pick what we think is the right team for conditions and opposition teams every game. We made the 2 changes from game 1 to game 2, obviously with Rabada being available for selection for this game. He had to come straight back into the side, and we're looking to try and get the right balance. At the moment with Akshar Patel not available for selection, our balance is out a little bit. So we tried to sort of mix and match things a little bit today. We also wanted to give Lalit Yadav an opportunity and show us what he's capable of in the middle order for the Delhi Capitals. So, look, I thought Lalit was good today. Probably didn't get away at the end of his innings the way that he would have wanted to, but look, we were really comfortable with our selections, and thinking about the 13-over mark of our bowling innings, the second innings of the game, everything was going according to plan. So we just made a few errors coming in the last 4 or 5 overs of the game, and when you're a little bit off against any team in the IPL, if you just bowl a couple of bad balls and over, or a couple of overs here and there is quite often the difference in the outcome, and we didn't get things right at the back end tonight. Yeah, we probably just gave him a few too many easy balls, a few too many slot balls, if you like. The length wasn't quite where it needed to be. I think if you look at the replay of the game, if we bowled a reasonable Yorker, he didn't score off it, and if it was back of a length, sort of above stump high, he didn't really get hold of many either, especially with the pace on the ball. So, we talked about how we wanted to bowl to him. The execution probably wasn't quite there. The other thing you got to factor in as well is just how wet and how dewy the ball was in the second innings of the game. So it wasn't easy for the bowlers to grip. I think you could see at the end there that there were a few full tosses that, the fast bowlers bowling the ball just slipping out of their hands a little bit. But, that's part and parcel of IPL cricket. We knew coming here that it would probably be a little bit of dew in the second half of the game, and we didn't adapt and we didn't execute as well as we could have tonight. Yeah, look, he's been ultra impressive pretty much from the first day that we arrived here in our training camp. You could see that physically he looks a little bit better. I think he's lost a little bit of weight from last season. He's definitely fitter. He's definitely bowling faster. And with that little bit of extra fitness on his side, I think he's able to maintain his action a little bit better. He's certainly been able to maintain his pace. He's a little bit better, and his lines and lengths and use of his slow balls and variations have been excellent so far. So, with coming into the first game, Ishant Sharma obviously had a little heel niggle that we've been trying to work through, but Arvesh has grabbed his opportunity with both hands, and he's been around this franchise for a few years now, and he hasn't got the opportunities that he's been craving. So, basically he knew that he had to go away and work really hard. He spent some time with the Indian team over the 5 or 6 weeks leading into the IPL, did a lot of bowling, and I think that really helped him coming here. So, look, so far he's been one of our real finds, and if you've got an Indian fast bowler like him, and then you've got the likes of Wokes, Nortje and Rabada and Curran and those guys around, then we end up with a really strong fast bowling brigade.
The players went through a number of fields for Chris because he's such a dangerous player, but the key thing to acknowledge was how the wicket was going to play, and also if you win the toss. We felt in our first game here the wicket was a little bit sticky and offered a little bit to the bowlers, so when we found that was the case today, we had a few more attacking options. So the first effort is to try and get Chris out, maybe LBW or with a full swinging one, and then there's other plans that work from there. So it's really the players working out based on the conditions, the wicket conditions, and how best they think they can get Chris out early. Well, it sort of snuck up on us a little bit, but he's been absolutely the heartbeat of CSK. There's no doubt about it, whether it's performances or guidance or leadership. And you sort of run out of things to say about him, but his longevity is also something now that is to be appreciated and mentioned. But To play the 200 games and still have a desire to do well and perform well is a testament to his attitude, firstly towards the game, but also to the franchise as well. I think that the franchise has grown and MS has grown with it, so it's a very good relationship and a great fit. Well, I'm really impressed with the way he bounced back after the first game. We felt within our group that the conditions sort of transpired against us a little bit with the drizzle and the dew, and we weren't able to create any opportunities. So the challenge was laid down to the bowling group as to how they were going to operate a little bit better in today's conditions. And winning the toss, I think, is important to acknowledge. So there was some assistance there. And without doubt, when Deepak gets a little bit of swing and a little bit of movement, he's one of the finest around. So his ability to swing the ball is one, but his control and also his skill set is very high. So the key really is keeping him a little bit simple in his plans and just operating in and around the stumps, because he's so effective when he has the ball swinging. Today was a great example of the skills he has, and as I say, a great bounce back from probably a below par performance in the first game. Well, it was the best 11. You put in a performance like this, then it's hard to argue. But yeah, we only have one. We have Lungi Ngidi, who now becomes available, but he's only out in the next couple of days. So we'll see how he comes out of quarantine. But the performance today from the 11 was very encouraging, and now it's a case of really assessing the conditions. I think everyone thought they were going to be high-scoring slogathons, but now there's a little bit more art to the team you pick and the tactics that you use. So we're really happy about that. We like the opportunity when there's a bit in the wicket to work hard and a bit of blue collar. So we're really encouraged by today's performance and the way that the 11 played. No, I'm really happy with the balance we've got there. Ruturaj, I think, is a fine player, and he got a good ball in the first innings in very difficult conditions today. It's not a 220 wicket today. It's much different, and the way they fought that out, I was very pleased. He's a young player that we showed faith in last year, and his talent came through. So, look, our philosophy when we pick players and put them in the team is to really back them, and this combination is certainly that.
Yeah, definitely. It's my second game and new into the IPL. It's different scenario compared to the domestic games, but here really I'm getting to learn a lot of things. Trying to improve my game. 1% every session I go in. Really having good times with Wasim Jafar and Andy Flower. Really having a lot of conversations with them. They're really helping me with my batting. Hopefully continue to do good. Yeah, I thought it was a bit slow, not like the usual Wankhede what I've seen through the years. It really stopped a lot. Didn't expect it to play in such a manner, but as and when the dew factor comes in, it kind of skids onto the bat really well. Yeah, we had half of the team inside the dressing room, but still it was, still wanted to hang around there for some time and, assess the pitch a bit more so that slog overs would be a bit more easier for me. But I think if I would have played those 5 balls in the end, in the 20th over, it would have been 20 runs more, which would have been a tight game, I guess. See, it's not the role that was assigned to me. My role is playing down the order as a finisher, but you can't expect to go out there and blast every game, because there will be situations where where the team bundles out and you need to take the responsibility and see the team through. I don't think that I'm branded as a complete finisher. I'm a good batsman. I was batting up the order for Tamil Nadu for a couple of years, so I've been batting up the order throughout. So I have the skill in me to bat and to see the team through as well in tough situations. I think I've really developed my game as a finisher in the last couple of years, but still my core game is still with me. Playing, trying to see the ball, watch the ball, play normal cricketing shots. A lot of points actually. The way they've been, having conversations with the people around in the team, trying to, help everyone improve every day. Nicholas Pooran, Chris Gale, David Malan, and obviously KL, and lights of so many such big players. When they talk to you and when they see you in nets and say certain things here and there, is really going to help your batting improve. And I'm obviously new to the IPL. There's still a long way to go. Obviously going to take a lot of thoughts from them, a lot of advices, and try and go out there and use it.
Yeah, that's a very important skill, especially on these kind of wickets, because it's not very easy to hit through the line. You can't just rely on boundaries or sixes. It's very important to keep the dot ball percentage low. And the only way you can do is by manipulating the field, by rotating the strike. And I think that's one aspect of the game which is very important on these wickets. Unfortunately, we were not able to do that, especially when Rahul Chahar was bowling, or even when the other fast bowlers were bowling in the middle overs. And that's one aspect which is very critical if you have to put pressure back on the bowlers or the fielding side. Well, as you have rightly mentioned, that as the ball gets hold and in the second half of the innings, it's getting tougher to play your natural game, to play the big shots, because the ball is just stopping on the wicket. It's also too paced, and also the spinners are extracting turn along with bounce. And I think that's one of the aspects which we definitely discussed. And if you see the way Johnny Bairstow and David Warner capitalize on the power play, that will be very important going forward, especially when you're playing on slow tracks like what we're seeing in Chennai, to use the new ball, use the power play restriction, so that you will put the other batsmen who are coming in later under less pressure. Also, it's very important that one set batsman plays through the innings quite deep in the innings, because it's very difficult for a newcomer to get used to the surface straight away, especially when the asking rate is climbing up. So I think the first 10 overs, the way you show your aggressive and positive intent will definitely help the second half of the innings for the batsmen. Yeah, absolutely. This is just the start of the tournament. Yes, we would have loved to start off on a winning note, to have the momentum on our side. But having said that, I think it's very important to introspect in a constructive manner. There's no point brooding over the result. Everyone is disappointed because everyone, once they're on the park, they want to score runs, pick up wickets, or win the match for the team. But it's more about analyzing the good things and also the shortcomings, and addressing the shortcomings and not repeating that in the following matches, but also at the same time accepting that there were some good contributions both with the bat, ball, or in the field. So it's also important to motivate the boys by addressing the positive aspects, not only brooding over the negative aspects or the things which didn't go our way. Yeah, unfortunately, Natarajan, because of a sore knee, and he had a niggle in his left knee, and that's the reason why he was ruled out of this match. So he was unfit for this match, and that's why we went with Khalil Ahmed, who's a left-arm seamer, and I was very impressed with the way he bowled in his first game of the season. I think he assessed the conditions really well and used a lot of his variation, along with extracting a lot of pace and bounce of the surface. So a lot of positive for SRH in the way Khalil Ahmed bowled. We are going to assess the condition of Natarajan, and I'm sure that the medical staff of Sunrisers will take the right decision which will be beneficial for him and the franchise. Yeah, we've been flexible with our batting order. Even if you see today, we did little bit of change compared to the previous two games. We had young Virat Singh and Abhishek Sharma, two left-handers, to counter the spinners of Mumbai Indians. Yeah, we got some days before the next game, so we will definitely go back to the drawing board and work out what is the best strategy to get a win under our belt, and what will be the best combination as far as the playing 11 is concerned, and also the batting lineup is concerned, to beat Punjab in our next game.
I think it's hard to pinpoint one performance there, but I think a lot of credit's due to the whole side for hanging in there. We knew probably a couple of runs short of a pass score, but we knew that this is a pitch that you can fight, and if you get a couple of wickets, you can really get back in the chase. So yeah, I thought the couple of direct hits from Hardik, 3 wickets from Rahul, equally Bumrah there bowling 4 overs for 13 runs was pretty amazing. Yeah, obviously, it's great to see a guy like that operate, how clear he is with what he's doing with the ball throughout his whole spell. But at the death, I personally believe he's one of the best death bowlers in the world. So he makes my job a heck of a lot easier. But it's always nice being on the right side of those situations. And hopefully we can get a bit of momentum into this tournament. I don't know if you're correct with it here. I think Rahul's got the most wickets here on our side. But the contrast between Wankhede and Chepauk Stadium, I think, is quite considerable. It looks like it's swinging around nicely, and it's a pretty good surface over in Mumbai. And here, as a pace bowler, I think you've got to be extremely accurate and try to almost be a step ahead of the batsman. But speaking of the last couple of performances, I think the key has really been our ability to really just stay in there, build a couple of dots, and just keep pushing that run rate up, and just getting the most out of that pressure situation in the death overs. I think it's very unique. Very rarely do you get the chance to, I suppose, settle into one venue. But the key would be to obviously read the conditions as quickly as possible, and obviously make the most of them, really. So it's a very unique situation that we've got 5 here, 4 in Delhi. And then we move around a little bit. But I think, especially in the first half of this tournament, you obviously got to get on the right side of a couple of results. And like I touched on earlier, it was nice to get those couple of W's over the last 2 matches.